What's up, everybody? Hey, y'all. Um,
Hey,
Happy New Year, and not only Happy New Year, but Happy Thursday. Yeah, we are live. We are live. We heard the word music. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There he is,
there he is.
Reverend Doctor Stephen Hurd, the Elder Philemon Walker.
Phil.
What's up, everybody? As we get started, y'all like, share, comment. Um,
Is that you, Phil? Is that you, Brandon? That was you. It's me? It's Phil?
all right, all right. That was "You Are My God" by Reverend Doctor Elder Stephen LaDante Hurd. If
How
you
horrible.
if you didn't know his last name is Hurd. His middle name is LaDante.
Never in 4 years. Never in 4 years. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad you're here this afternoon. We are excited. As you can see, I'm with my producers for the upcoming project, Songs from the Sanctuary. Philip Walker is here. Pastor Brandon Macklin is here. And we are so excited. We are so excited that you guys are here to be with us. And we hope that you are making plans to be with us on the 23rd of January. All roads lead to the First Baptist Church of Glenarden, 600 Watkins Park Drive in Upper Marlboro.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't say how excited I am to be a part of this project. Sounds from the Sanctuary.
Songs.
Excuse me, songs.
Guys, please stop. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. What you was talking about.
You already know.
Y'all, this is gonna be more fun than you know. This is gonna be more fun than you know. 30 minutes of laughter. But as I was saying, I'm very, 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 very excited to be a part of Songs from the Sanctuary.
Thank you, Dr. Tony.
It means so much to me that I'm a part, and I get to share this incredible journey with a brother of mine, and I guess I would call Stephen a mentor. He's been one of the role models for our city for not only how to do and how to lead worship, how to be an artist, but how to be a support system for all of those who are going into this thing called the gospel music industry. And I'm super excited. Phil, how you feel, man? Talk to us.
What's up, guys? Phil Walker here. Please stop. God. Please, relax. I'm just a man like you. I put my shoes on one Balenciaga at a time. I'm crazy. I'm so glad to be a part of this project with Stephen. I've been working with him for about 14 years. It has been a journey. Steve is a praise and worship leader, second to none. I guess I could say I kind of grew up listening to Stephen Hurd, so he's what you would call an OG in the game, an uncle, if you will. But no, seriously, he is definitely a beacon of light in this area. I am honored to do ministry with him. He's a amazing moderator, orator, facilitator, workshop expert. Seriously, he can do it all, and this project is going to kind of embody all of his qualities, down to praise and worship, down to, some of the best ballads you've heard in gospel. It's just going to have a mixture of everything. So if you love Stephen Hurd's music, if you love his speaking ability, he's going to be doing some of everything, hymns, some old songs, some new songs you've never heard. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm honored to be a part, to play, to produce. I think this is going to be some of the best work that has come out of this area. So I'm just honored to be a part, and I'm just excited for what God is about to do on January the 23rd. Make sure you get tickets. Make sure you buy the VIP if you want to be noticed, because I know some of y'all don't like to sit in the back. Say amen. Go get that VIP now, because it's selling fast.
Yeah, it really is.
If you do get the VIP, you'll be able to meet yours truly.
Brandon, you may pick up from here. I'm not sure what's going on.
You get the VIP, you'll be able to meet Steven, and you'll be able to, kind of see some things that everybody else won't get to see. So, yeah, I'll go get that VIP. And if you can't, just get the general admission tickets. They're free. So just come on out and support us.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ditto what Phil said. If you don't know, we've just opened up VIP tickets for, is it 300 people only, Stephen?
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very small number, and the tickets have already started selling out far beyond our expectations. So do we have the QR code available?
I was about to say, can we post the link?
Yeah, or we do have the link. If you go to Eventbrite, type in Songs from the Sanctuary, Stephen Hurd, you will see all the information there where you can be a part of the VIP experience. The VIP experience does come with a lot of really cool perks that we will not tell you at this moment, but there are things that you will really want to take part of. And you get to see, I will say that you get to see a bit of an in-depth look at the preparation and all the things that go into making sure that live recordings like these go smoothly.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be a good time. Well, Phil kind of started us off as in saying that he's been working with you, Stephen, for 14 years. I remember you in the late 90s. In the late 90s, I wasn't even 10 yet. I was born.
You just start speaking in complete sentences.
Exactly. And I remember Stephen Hurd in corporate worship coming to Glendale Baptist Church at 7610 Central Avenue.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the journey of your ministry? Like, I mean, you've been in the game a long time, and we've kind of been talking about this as we've been planning Songs from the Sanctuary. But I don't think everybody kind of knows like the fullness of all of what you've done as not only an artist but a minister of music. You spent time in the Methodist church, you spent time in the Baptist church, you spent time in a Pentecostal church. You've been a little bit of everywhere. Can you kind of like tell us where this started? Like, how did you get into leading worship, being a minister of music, so forth and so
I've always been so my whole adult life, right out of high school, I've been in the role of minister of music. I was hired. My first job was at a Methodist church in my neighborhood in Brandywine, Maryland, while I was in undergrad at Howard University, and I served there for 10 years. It really was my proving ground. It was the master class of life that God orchestrated, and I still have fresh relationships with those people from the congregation. They're family to me now. All these years, I've watched their kids get married and have kids. And so it's been that long of a relationship. God has blessed my life for the last 39 years to serve in the local church. And I've been really geeked. To be honest, y'all, I didn't really like when I did my first record. I wasn't trying to do a record to be an artist. I was trying to do a record because I was doing these workshops around the country and I wanted music for people to take home with them. And so we bumped into this recording that we did at the Union Bethel Church, AME Church in Brandywine. Patrick Lundy's choir, the Ministers of Music, were my background. They did my background. Carlton Burgess and his group did some singing with me. It ended up being a different record when we finished mixing it, but that was my first live session. Gary Gillespie was on keys and Blues Webb was on drums and Sean DeVoe was producer.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Yeah. And so it's been an amazing journey. The Overflow project came as an encore to this little record. At that time, it was a CD and a cassette that people were buying around the country. It kind of snowballed into a thing. PJ Morgan produced that project. Jay Littlejohn played on it. Dwayne Thomas. I can't remember who. Chucky Caldwell was on bass. It was one of the best projects I was able to do it at. The National Church of God allowed me to host it there. The late Pastor Rosalind Lynch was my really became she was like a mentor sister to me, and she just most recently last year went home to be with the Lord. But it was one of the best projects that the Lord had ever given me to do, and it really sparked in me the hunger to create a sound for people to experience worship. And reality is, I always tell people this: I don't have the patent, but God has been incredibly kind to me, and it's the same in every project that I've been able to work. I ask God for the best of the best. When I was able to do the Live MDC project, they asked me who I wanted to work with, and I said I want to work with Stephen Ford. Stephen Ford said yes, and he did that project, and he did my Destiny project. And God has been just kind to us, with nominations and Doves, nominations with Stellars, winning a Stellar with Times of Refreshing, working with Justin Savage on that project. It was really, 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 really amazing. And so, God has really been kind to my hunger to be the best, and not to be better than you, but to be the best in the offering that I have to present. So I'm geeked excited. You guys need to know that these producers, Brandon and Phil, were literally, God laid them on my heart to work with them. Because I'm a people watcher. I watch their work down through the years, and I am one on relationships. I'm one on integrity, and I'm one on consistency. And they have consistency. They have faithfulness. They have professional prowess. One of the things that impressed me about Brandon is I watched him be little Brandon Macklin, the drummer boy, whose father is a pastor, to go to school, get his degree, and get his feet wet in the music industry in all genres. And I've watched and listened to some of his work, and I was just like, I need to work with this guy. I'm just so amazingly proud of what you're doing and what God has allowed you to become. So I'm a geeked about this project. I met Phil through his brother-in-law, And he kept telling me about this anointed guy. You got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. He's anointed. You don't want to work with him. I said, yeah. Everybody's anointed. Blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, when I first met him, I just was like, play something. That's the first thing I said, play something. And when he started playing, I heard that sound and I said, oh, okay. And I immediately said to him, I said, do you want to do, and I gave him a date. I said, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah.
It was in Detroit.
It was Coletta Vaughn. Coletta Vaughn invited me to do some ministry for her conference. And I asked Phil if he was interested in going. And he said, yeah. And man, the rest is history. We've been traveling the world. We've been to South Korea. We've been to the Caribbean. We've been to Africa. God has blessed our efforts, man. God has blessed our efforts to help people to experience God. And so, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. And I want people to come with an anticipation because I haven't done a record in like 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. So, I mean, and briefly, what everyone doesn't know is Phil and I worked together when I was in middle school and high school, as Phil was a part of the Sanctuary Band.
Yes.
And we did
here.
Yes.
Yeah, Brandon was a young suppling. He drank from my musical breast.
We're gonna get fined.
Clearly.
We're gonna get fined.
Clearly fined and removed.
They'll block us.
Hey, James Greer.
And literally the time that we spent together, we were both growing as musicians, and so I counted a privilege to be able to work on this project with Phil. I've always admired him, and I've always been a fan of his playing. Even with like when we first started with JJ Harrison, Phil was there, and Phil's been playing with Prophet Karn and yourself, Stephen, and Ernest Pugh. The list goes on and on and on. So this is a really good time that we get to do this with you. And so, Steve, I wanted to ask you about. It's been 14 years since you've done a recording, a live recording, since you wanted to release music into the world. Why now? Why now? Why this team?
That's a very good question. So everybody keeps asking, what's taking you so long? Why have you done some music? I pulled away from the industry for a couple of years because I felt a need to quiet myself and to really get my focus back. Because I felt like so many of my friends in the industry, you know, in our conversations, most of our conversations was about how great they were and how they killed when they did what they did. And we never talked about impact being made. We never talked about how people's lives were changed. And I just like, dude, we got to be talking about something else other than how great we are. Right. So I just stepped back for a second and just did a introspective look on my heart and myself. And in the meantime, I had written a book, the book called Seed of David, A Worshiper's Guide to Mend the Heart and Discipline the Flesh. And the purpose was to help to instruct people to really have a more intimate, tangible walk with God. And I just didn't hear no music. I didn't feel anything. You know, life was happening. I was serving as minister of music at my church where I served for the last 23 years. And in the last 2 years, my role has changed there. And it's given me time to kind of clear the airspace for my heart and my gift. And as soon as I took some time away and my responsibilities changed, I start hearing music again. I start hearing songs. And that's when I knew it was time. And I feel like the style that I have and the approach to worship that I have is needed in the space of music ministry for the world in this time. And I'm not saying that music is bad. I'm just saying that I'm supposed to do a contribution. And I feel like it's time to do that contribution.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think you're the right person for the job, especially as you've kind of laid the vision out to all of us about what the Lord is saying. And Phil, I want to kind of ask you this, like, what is it about Stephen's vision for this record that makes you most excited? I know we're talking about songs from the Sanctuary, but as far as like your creative process and your musicianship and your ability to produce, what is it about this project that makes you feel like this is going to be something special? Earlier, you said it's going to be one of the best to come out of the DMV. What about the vision makes you feel this way?
Well, firstly, I said that to sell tickets, but next,
I need you to try.
okay.
Just try.
Okay. No, seriously, Stephen has had some of the best producers in gospel. When he's Morgan, Justin Savage, Kenny Shelton, Stephen, those are like some of my
Yeah.
favorite producers in gospel. Like they're guys I revere. And so to come behind them is an honor in and of itself because they have really had some great records. My Destiny, Times of Refresh, like corporate, those are records I still listen to just for inspiration. If I had to pick one of my favorite records, if I had to pick, it would be Times of Refreshing, which was one of my personal favorite records, and it also won a Stellar Award. So it's like I love the records that Stephen has put out, but as it pertains to this record, I kind of want to embody everything that Stephen has done to give you a little bit of all of his music that he's done through the years, some of the styles, some of the different nuances of his music, because he's had quite a few records and they all have their own specific thing. And so I kind of just want to embody all of those records into one and give you a little bit of some old into some new things that is going to be something different for him and us to do together. So I'm anxious for you guys to hear some of the different nuances of Stephen Hurd that you've experienced and some new things that you may not have experienced. And with this record, we have some old songs and we have some songs you have not heard before. We released a single in August called "You Are My God," which was a great praise and worship song. If you guys have not downloaded that song, if you've not purchased that song, go to iTunes, Apple Music, or wherever music is sold digitally, and please get "You Are My God," Stephen Hurd. That is a great praise and worship song. I feel like it's not too wordy, it's not too difficult in relation to music arrangements. It's something that you can do in your Sunday morning services. So get that song, do it in your praise and worship sets, tag us in it. We would love to hear, your feedback on that song, because it is some of the direction in which we'll go for Pastor Stephen Hurd. We just need you guys to show up for the recording and be a great support.
Yeah, for sure, man. I talking about "You Are My God," that was Stephen's like introduction into this whole entire process. And most people don't know that the reason why we did the single was almost to get our feet wet. It was us walking from the sand to the shore of the ocean to get like completely engulfed into the waves and engulfed into what God is calling us to do. And I personally love that song too, because it showcases who Stephen is as an artist and who we've always known him to be, but it gave him a fresh sound and something that people can look forward to. And so Stephen, talk to us about the possible intrepidation that could come as an artist who's been, we're talking 30 years of ministry, 40 years of ministry, So as the years come by, I'm sure that changing your sound can be, daunting, or walking into this new piece of worship leading in a new season, and it's all these things can kind of just be clouding the brain and clouding the creative space, and kind of entering your spirit as you are, as you was teaching earlier in the 21 days of fasting, as you're like in the presence of God by yourself in that intimate moment. Can you talk to us about the duality of being an artist, but also having to understand like moving towards the future and what God is calling you to do now?
That's a loaded question, Brandon. Very good. I think for me in the space that I'm in, it's hard. What I've learned in the journey of artist ministry, it's hard to balance the two. Because the artist is not the same as ministry. Artistry is not the same as ministry. And sound to me is not the same. And sometimes people think because you have a great gift and a great skill or great acumen in whatever the area of your gifting is, means that you have ministry, and you don't. It's two different callings. And I've learned that trying to maintain the level of artistry can sometimes compromise your walk in your ministry. And you have to really be very intentional and have tenacity to go after the presence, because there's something about being with God in a private place where you are sure that you hear his voice, that you sure you feel his presence. And so you have to really, like a dog goes after a bone, you have to be very intentional about getting to that space, because there's so many life distractions. Everything is going on all the time. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, 1 minute you're happy, somebody dies in the next minute, then a baby comes in and you're excited, then somebody's getting a divorce, somebody gets sick. I mean, so things keep happening, tennis matching across across your life. And the reality is you have to be intentional about spending time with God, because when you do, he'll help you get through the rough of the journey. And he'll, in the meantime, to soothe you, he'll sing to you. Mm-hmm. He'll sing a song to you. And that's the place where I wasn't hearing when I was in overload. When I was working in overload, I was working in my know-how. I could do it, but the reality was something had to be sacrificed. And most times it could be your time that you really, really need to spend with God. You can stand up in the office and preach and stand up on the pulpit and do your thing. But the reality is there's a sound that's void. And sometimes the saints don't know that there's a void. Sometimes they just know that they heard and felt, they felt good about what you said. They felt good about the music that you delivered. I don't want to just make a sound that's good. I want a sound that causes people to have an encounter, to have an experience with God, because I believe we're living very close to the end of the world, and God is preparing us for his return. And I believe, this is just Stephen Hurd, I believe worship is going to be that sound that introduces us to our Savior.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so this is the last question, because I know we got to go. We have creative sessions and more music to finalize before the week is gone. So we're just here together for a quick second before we go into our next meeting. But when we're talking about the sound of worship, right? We kind of have, in some ways, adapted a sound of worship that is different from my speaking for Brandon. It's a bit different from what I remember the sound of worship being when I was younger, right? So when I was younger, like, the songs were different, the instrumentation was different, the pigmentation was different.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. And now we've kind of adapted a new thing in the local church, in the global church, which, I mean, I love it all. I mean, the creative in me loves all of it. But when we're talking about songs from the sanctuary, are we, and I know the answer to this, but since our audience is here, what can the audience expect to hear as the sound that comes from songs from the sanctuary?
Oh man, so I'm geeked excited.
Do you want to turn off your notifications?
I'm geeked excited because it gives me a chance to. You guys have stretched me. I'm working. We're working with Jimmy Johnson from Baltimore, one of the world's greatest lyricists.
It really is.
And so I'm really excited about that. And the reason I have the team that I have is because worship usually sounds like the generation that it is identified in. So the reason the sounds that you heard or you remember from being a child is because that was the language for that particular time.
Yes.
And that was the identifier for the community. I think that worship is best presented when when it's coming from your well. The best example biblically is Cain and Abel. Yeah. The offering that Cain presented was different than the offering that Abel presented, and one made another brother jealous, and God made a memorial out of the offering that was presented by Abel. And so it's not just about doing what's good. It's about just trying to connect into something that's going to bring glory. The glory is what people experience. That's what they remember when you're gone. That's what they remember when they don't see you. They can remember the glory, and the glory is what will provoke them to go closer to God and to want to be closer to God. So the songs are going to be creative. Phil alluded to it earlier. There are going to be some songs that are in every project that I do. I need to say this. Every project that I do, I always do a project from a previous, I do a song from a previous project on every project that I've ever done. And so I'm going back to pick up some of those. But most of all, I want to, and of course, I'm a hymn lover, so I'm going to do a hymn medley. But most of all, I am, and I'm excited because Mike McCoy and the Voices United, who are one of my favorite singer aggregations in the world, amazing choir, they're going to do some choir stuff with us because Songs from the Sanctuary, for me, is not just the building, it's wherever you create moments where God shows up. Wherever that place is, that's your sanctuary. Wherever that safe place is, that place of creativity, that place of humility and vulnerability, that's where God is going to show up. And so we're trying to create that space, and everybody who is invited is a part of creating that space. And I'm just geeked excited. I can't tell you how excited I am about January the 23rd. And it's also 2 days before my birthday. And so I'm probably going to do a t-shirt with all of my Zelle accounts on there and my Cash App and my Venmo, just in case anybody feels like blessing the man of God. Shout yes.
Shout yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm a geek. I'm excited. So there is a Eventbrite that you can go to, and although the tickets are free, we need to have an account of who's coming. And then there are VIP access tickets, and that is going to give you access to a pre-reception to the concert and to a t-shirt that we're a few t-shirts that we've created, and get a chance for you to actually see the artist ministers, Darwin and Crystal Aiken and Will Johnson and Mike McCoy, and get a chance just to be in their presence for a little bit and encourage them and take some pictures and that kind of thing. So that's going to be very cool. But I'm so excited because I want you to come with an open basket to be filled. Yeah. I believe God is going to pour some special oil and some special grace as we have cried and we have prayed. I feel Jesus. I feel that it's important for the time that we're living in. Is so much going on, so much evil, so much darkness. And we need to have a place where we can experience God, to get instructions, to be equipped with his glory. Because I'm telling you that, and I say this in the prophetic space, that before it gets better, it will get worse. And you're going to have a song of the Lord that gives you victory. You're going to have a promise from God that will ensure victory in your life, not just your life, but your family's life. And I'm not talking about these other gods that you give credence to. I'm not talking about sage and all that stuff. I'm talking about having an encounter with Jesus, the Son of the living God. And I'm excited because I believe he's going to speak in power, and I believe he's going to bring healing. And I believe he's going to challenge us, those who do music ministry, those who preach, those who are worship pastors and worship leaders. I believe he's going to challenge us and anoint us with fresh oil so we can go out into this new year in this new space with power.
Absolutely, Phil. I want you to tag that. As Stephen is talking about the open basket, for all the minstrels that are here. How do you focus on making sure that from a minstrel standpoint, that this will be the result, right? Of course, we have the plan, but there's all sorts of procedures and policies and steps that we have to take to get prepared to record. But once the recording is happening, it doesn't need to feel like a recording. It needs to feel almost like revival. It needs to feel like the glory of the Lord is setting upon us. Can you talk to us about, from your position of producer, creative, MD, your band, how are you scoping this vision with your teams?
Well, the blessing, like I said earlier, the blessing of it is I've worked with Stephen for 14 years, so I can attest to every time that we have stood up to do ministry, God always meets us. No matter where we are in the world, God always meets us. Yeah. A part of that is because of our heart's intention to do what's right. And I believe in Stephen's ministry, and Stephen believes in my ministry, because we've done ministry for almost 20 years, and God has showed up every time. And a part of that is our surrender, is our yes to the Lord. And it doesn't change when a recording comes. One thing about us presenting these new songs is going to embody what's in our spirit. So we're making sure that we, be praying, we're fasting. We're not just doing this from a gifted standpoint, or, just having the education of music, but we're also producing from our spirit. So one of the things I've always loved about Stephen Hurd is that though he is educated as a musician, he's also open to hear what God is saying and what God is doing, what melody God wants us to play. So this is just not going to be a great musical experience. It's going to be a great spiritual experience. So we're marrying the two of spirit, music, education, whether it be through traditional songs, through contemporary. All of those spaces will be met with a song. And we're making sure we're keeping our ears open to God so that we can hear what heaven is saying and playing, and we mirror that in the earth. So a part of that experience has come from me traveling with Stephen Hurd. I was told one time when I used to play for Prophet Karn, one of the things he said to me was, it's great to have a well, but a well has different streams. And sometimes you have to know how to service different climates, different, atmosphere. It's like if you put water in a fountain machine, it has different spigots that comes out. It's all water, but they all come out at different flavors based upon what's in that filter. And so I'm making sure my filter in my prayer life and my spirit man is open so that I can receive exactly what God is saying, and it's not altered by anything that's in my life. So I thank God for allowing, me this opportunity to be able to create a sound to put in the earth, because no matter what artists are out, no matter what people are doing, there is a sound for every audience.
Absolutely.
And the blessing with Stephen Hurd, even though he may not have recorded music in 14 years, there's still an audience waiting to hear his voice. And so this is not about, any competition. This is not about any fanfare. We're not doing it for awards. We're not doing it for recognition. And if those things come, glory to God. But our motive and our mission is to put a sound out that God has orchestrated for us, and to make sure we fulfill that assignment. And whatever comes from that, whatever worldly accolades come from that, that'll be what it is. But we just want to make sure we're mission-minded and kingdom-minded when it comes to this music. So, yeah, I guess in a nutshell, we're making sure that we're hearing from heaven and making sure we're producing what heaven is saying.
We're producing a Jesus song.
A Jesus song. Say amen.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. Phil, I really think you just hit the nail like really on the head for our purpose of being here. We just wanted to talk to you all, to tell you all exactly what you can look forward to, what we're planning to do, and what Songs from the Sanctuary really is going to be about. It's not just another recording, but it's an encounter with the presence of God.
Yes, sir.
And that encounter is going to be, to Phil's words, to Stephen's words, I echo the sentiments. It's going to be something for everybody, and
right.
that's going to be the beauty of this. For me, it takes me back to old encounters with listening to Israel New Breed and Shekinah Glory and Azusa projects and Women That Art Loose. If that was your time, this record is for you. I promise. This record is for you. Like, it's going to be a seamless listen all the way through from top to bottom, where you literally just experience the presence of God, from joy to maybe lament to maybe peace to maybe just sorrow. Whatever you are in at that time of your life, there's going to be a song for that. And I promise you, it's going to be fantastic. So before we go, any last words, Reverend Doctor?
Listen, I want everybody to go to Eventbrite and get your ticket. And also, I want to say this before I go. I am so excited because not only is Heard the Word Music able to do this project, but we're in partnership now with Compassion International, which helps us to help disenfranchised and poverty-stricken children around the world. I've been attached to charities like this for the last 30 years, thanks to CeCe Winans, showing me the urgency of being able to give to people who have nothing to give back to me. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm so excited because my mentors will be there. There's a lady I met when I was a teenager who she was a musician. She was a student at Howard. Her name is Rosemarie Jones. She taught me how to play some piano, and she let me sit on the bench while she was playing at the church. And then Marilyn Wall, who was minister of music for almost 50 years now at the Union Bethel Church in Brandywine. She was my mentor. Who taught me hymns. She taught me hymns. I couldn't play hymns when I first started working at my little Methodist church, and she walked with me and strived with me to help me to learn hymns. So I'm geeked excited about that. And then my mentor, my godmother, Reverend Dr. Thomasina Portis, who has been a wellspring of multitude of knowledge for my life and my ministry forever. Vocal technician extraordinary, master teacher in every regard, will be with me. So I'm excited. I've got friends coming from California. I got friends coming from Georgia, Chicago. I got a friend who's flying from Thailand. I got a friend coming from Delaware. Man, people are coming from around the country, and I want you to go and get your ticket, get your train ticket, or fill your car up with gas, put your electric in your electric car, whatever it is, and let's get there. It's going to be amazing. And so thank you for allowing us the time and the space for just thank you. I'm so excited. I'm forever grateful. And I'm excited. Like, I just got excited. We were in a session last week with the team, and I heard the song that they arranged, and it felt like what I heard. And so I was I'm just geeked excited. So please, ma'am, please, sir.
My wife just posted the link in the comments for anybody that don't know how to get to it. See, that's why I married her. She's so wisdom. The link is in the comments for people that want to get the ticket. Please hit that link.
Shout out to Mrs. Walker.
Shout out, Miss Walker. I love you. Thank you so much.
Stephen, you kind of brought back a piece of my childhood. Marilyn Walls was my high school choral teacher.
Get out of here.
Marilyn Walls.
So you used to be a tenor.
Frederick, shut up.
He, by all means, is literally the most consistent person. She's one of the most consistent persons
That's cool.
I've ever met, man. She's a team player, and she's a cheerleader. She's always cheering people to be better.
Frederick Douglass High School. Shout out,
Miss Yeah.
Walls.
That's cool.
I love you.
Wow, that's so good.
Skip class to come to the chorus room.
Look, Brandon, look.
I know, I see her, Miss Walls. I love you so much.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. I love that.
We could skip class back then and not get in trouble. Love y'all, man. Thank you so much for the time. It's been great. Y'all, we got a meeting in a couple hours, so we'll see y'all in a couple hours. But we'll see you all at the First Baptist Church Glenarm International Worship Center. Don't go to the Ministry Center. Go to the worship. Go to the big church.
600 Walker Park Drive.
Yes. Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
January 23rd.
Yes.
We celebrate Stephen Hurt's birthday, as well as the live recording of songs from the sanctuary. We love y'all, man. Have a fantastic day. Stay warm.
Shout out to Jimmy Johnson. He couldn't be on the live, but he's going to be doing vocal production. Shout out
Absolutely.
I think we have another live schedule with Jimmy coming soon. So
okay, great.
Stay close. Close.
We have a live with hey guys, listen, we have a live with Darwin Hobbs. We have a live with Crystal Aiken. We have a live with Jimmy Johnson, and we have another live with Will Johnson. So we're really excited about all of this. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. We're forever grateful, honest to God.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all January 23rd at the Worship Center, First Baptist Church Glenarm International. We love y'all, man. Have a fantastic day. Stay warm. Stay safe.